The Secret Life of Albert Einstein. Hello lovely YouTube family, welcome back to Future Tense. In today's videos, we're going to talk about the secret life of Albert Einstein. But before we start, I want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Einstein's groundbreaking scientific ideas made his name a synonym for genius, but he was also famous for his pacifist views and support of the civil rights movement. Let's explore 6 secret facts about one of the towering minds of the 20th century. Number 6. Einstein urged the building of the atomic bomb and later became a proponent of nuclear. In the late 1930s, Einstein learned that new research had put German scientists on a path toward creating the atom bomb. The prospect of a doomsday weapon in the hands of the Nazis convinced him to set aside his pacifist principles and team up with Hungarian physicist Leo Szilard, who helped him write a letter urging President Franklin D. Roosevelt to conduct atomic research. Though Einstein never participated directly in the Manhattan Project, he later expressed deep regrets about his minor role in bringing about the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings. Had I known that the Germans would not succeed in producing an atomic bomb, I never would have lifted a finger, he told Newsweek. He went on to become an impassioned advocate of nuclear disarmament, control on weapons testing, and unified world government. Shortly before his death in 1955, he joined with philosopher Bertrand Russell in signing the Russell-Einstein Manifesto, a public letter that expressed the risks of nuclear war and implored governments to find peaceful means for the settlement of all disputes between them. Number 5. Einstein didn't fail math as a child. Underachieving school kids have long taken solace in the claim that Einstein flunked math as a youth, but the records show that he was actually an exceptional, if not reluctant student. He scored high grades during his school days in Munich and was only frustrated by what he described as the mechanical discipline demanded by his teachers. The future Nobel laureate dropped out of school at age 15 and left Germany to avoid state-mandated military service, but before then he was consistently at the top of his class and was even considered something of a prodigy for the grasp of his complex mathematical and scientific concepts. When later presented with a news article claiming he'd failed grade school math, Einstein dismissed the story as a myth and said, "Before I was 15, I had mastered differential and integral calculus." Number 4. No one knows what happened to his first daughter. In 1896, Einstein renounced his German citizenship and enrolled at the Swiss Federal Polytechnic School in Zurich. There he began a passionate love affair with Mileva Maric, a fellow physicist in training originally from Serbia. The couple later married and had 2 sons after graduating, but a year before they tied a knot, Maric gave birth to an illegitimate daughter named Lizerl. Einstein never spoke about the child to his family, and biographers weren't even aware of her existence until examining his private papers in the late 1980s. Her fate remains a mystery to this day. Some scholars think Lizerl died from scarlet fever in 1903, while others believe she survived the sickness and was given up for adoption in Maric's native Serbia. Number 3. It took Einstein 9 years to get a job in academia. Einstein showed flashes of brilliance during his years at the Zurich Polytechnic, but his rebellious personality and penchant for skipping classes saw his professors give him less than glowing recommendations upon his graduation in 1900. The young physicist later spent 2 years searching for an academic position before settling for a gig at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern. Though menial, the job turned out to be a perfect fit for Einstein, who found he could breeze through his office duties in a few hours and spend the rest of the day writing and conducting research. In 1905, often called his miracle year, the lowly clerk published 4 revolutionary articles that introduced his famous equation E equals mc squared and the theory of special relativity. While the discoveries marked Einstein's entrance onto the physics world stage, he didn't win a full professorship until 1909, nearly a decade after he had left school. Number 2. He offered his wife his Nobel Prize as part of their divorce settlement. After his marriage to Mileva Maric hit the rocks in the early 1910s, Einstein left his family, moved to Berlin, and started a new relationship with his cousin Elsa. He and Maric finally divorced several years later in 1919. As part of their separation agreement, Einstein promised her an annual stipend plus whatever money he might receive from the Nobel Prize, which he was supremely confident he would eventually win. Maric agreed, and Einstein later handed over a small fortune upon receiving the award in 1922 for his work on the photoelectric effect. By then, he had already remarried to Elsa, who remained his wife until her death in 1936. And at number 1, he was asked to be president of Israel. Though not traditionally religious, Einstein felt a deep connection to his Jewish heritage and often spoke up against anti-Semitism. He was never a staunch Zionist, but when the head of state, Chaim Weizmann, died in 1952, the Israeli government offered to appoint him as the nation's second president. The 73-year-old wasted little time in declining the honor. "All my life I have dealt with objective matters," Einstein wrote in a letter to the Israeli ambassador. "Hence, I lack both the natural aptitude and the experience to deal properly with people and to exercise official function." And that's all for today, folks. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any amazing videos from us.